Hello, all. It's me, Lauren, founder of This Girl's Enough, and I'm very, very fucking excited to bring my gorgeous pal, my life changer, Samantha Selby. Hey, 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 how you doing, babe?
Oh, I'm very good. Thank you very much. Bit sweaty, bit hot.
Oh, yeah, grim. My thighs have taken a bit of a battering today, I can tell you.
It's kind of like you just know there's all of me is wet. But
Yeah.
Anyway.
Gross. TMI, Sam, TMI.
Totally.
A quick bit of background on Sam. Sam has changed my life in more ways than I could ever explain to her by a simple method of tapping the shit out of my face.
Yeah, really hard. It doesn't make
any sense. Skeptical. How can you whack someone and make them feel better? But apparently it works. It's definitely worked for me. So when I started with the live events, it was a really natural thing for me to think I need Sam on board with this. And she came and worked her magic on both of my first and second events and just wowed the fucking room with her knowledge and her aura and everything that she brings with her. She was just a mega star on the night. So I have brought Sam back for us on the online project and also at the next live event. Sam is coming with me because she's fucking incredible. So I wanted to share my findings with you all in the group and introduce you to the beautiful Sam. For those of you who have seen her in the group, no doubt you have, because she pops up here, there and everywhere and offers great value to us all. But I wanted to do a little Q&A with Sam about this motherfucker of anxiety. And I don't know about you, Sam, I don't know how much of your work is based around helping women with anxiety, but it seems to me that this bitch of a thing is taking serious hold over women and, sort of stealing their life from underneath them. And when I've talked about anxiety before, I've said, to try and get across that you are not your anxiety. I mean, how can you expand on that? That how do they make the break that they are not the anxiety? The anxiety is something independent of them.
Okay, so really what we have to think about is what anxiety actually is and what it does to the physical body, because we have our thoughts, we have our physical body, we have our emotions, and we are a combination of everything, all of these things. But the real thing that when women speak to me about the anxiety, it's how it makes them feel physically. So it's the breathing, it's the constriction in their body, it's the physical pain, the aches, but it's so life limiting, because when you're in the grip of anxiety, it shrinks your life down to the smallest thing. And when you said how many people do I work with, every person I work with has some level of anxiety. I think that is partly to do with the world that we live in, but it's also to do with how we process things, and it's also how to do with the world we've grown up in. Because anxiety isn't something that we choose to have. No one wakes up in the morning and goes, do you know what? I'm going to feel anxious today. It's something.
I want to feel like shit for the whole of today, please.
Yeah. It's not something that we consciously choose to happen. And it's something that there are different types of anxiety, and this is something to kind of get a handle on, because every person, every woman is affected in a slightly different way. It might be that a woman has anxiety about for others, particularly her children, and I see this a lot, where we are so anxious and afraid for other people being harmed, particularly children, our children. And that what that means is that doesn't just limit our life, but it limits their lives as well.
Yeah.
And the other thing that we have to think about with anxiety, it'll affect, as I said, people in different ways. So it might be we have a social anxiety. So being with other people can really send us into this spiral of the physical reactions that we have, but it's also what goes on in here as well. So there isn't a one size fits all. There isn't a one size will fit every person. What you need to think about is, how does it affect you as an individual, and what does it do to your life? How does it limit your life? What does it stop you doing? And that's then, when you think about that, and especially for the women who anxieties, particularly around their children, the thing to remember is our children look to us to know how to feel about things. And if a woman, a mum, suffers from anxiety and the child sees that happening, the message that child receives is things aren't safe.
Mm-hmm.
The world isn't safe. Outdoors might not be safe. Going on the train might not be safe. That message is received by the child, not necessarily auditory. The mum's not going to say, but the child will pick that up on so many different levels, because children read our body language. They read the tone of our voice. They don't just listen to the words we say. It's everything else.
Mm.
And this is one thing that I would say to anybody with anxiety who has children. If you don't deal with this for yourself, deal with it for your child.
Mm.
Because more than anything, when I work with people in clinic, they come in and they say, I don't know where my anxiety came from. There wasn't one thing. For some people it is. For some people it's a car accident, or it's a difficult birth, or it's a divorce, or there's a thing. There's something that happened that then the anxiety developed after that. For very many people, their anxiety is accumulation of many different things, but it will start in their childhood. And very often they will, we chat and we talk, and very often they'll say, oh yeah, because my mum had this bit of this thing about answering the phone, or my mum had this thing about not going out, or
yeah.
What happens is the child just picks up that something is unsafe, because if their mum, the person they hold up here, is not feeling right, then something must be wrong.
Mm.
So if any woman is listening to this who suffers from anxiety, and you're thinking, I'm not worthy enough, I can't spend this money on me, I can't do this for me, do it for your children.
What a beautiful way to look at it. Because we quite often go to the end of the world to make other people happy.
Completely.
But generally, if we're happy first, then that ripple effect to our children. And even if you don't have children, in your workplace, if you're suffering with anxiety in your workplace, then there's a risk that you won't be taken seriously or trusted with certain tasks. So you'll be viewed for your anxiety rather than your ability, which is just really limiting and shit. So the way that anxiety just filters into all areas of your life then ripples out into your relationships, your friendships, your jobs, your families. It's just so much bigger, isn't it? And to really benefit from all these things in your life, and to be able to achieve at work, and to be able to maintain strong relationships and good friendships, you've got to tackle the fucking beast from within, haven't you? And that's the thing that I just feel so fucking passionately about. I want women like you to be able to give this message to women, that they don't have to feel like this, and especially being able to take the anxiety away from who they are, and stand and stare the anxiety down. What sort of instant hit could you offer that would nip it in the bud? I know you can't give everything away, but just give them something that would make them feel a little bit more,
Yeah. Okay. So anxiety is something we feel in our body.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And as part of the program, I'm going to really share with you what happens physiologically, because I'm a firm believer that we understand what's going on physically, why we feel the way we feel, then it goes a long way for us to understand it. However, so that's really important. I believe knowledge and understanding where something comes from is the key. However, when you're in the grip of anxiety, when it's churning, your tummy's churning, you're breathing, there is one thing that I always say to my clients is to breathe. Because it's to really think about that breath. Because what happens with anxiety, you go into this fight and flight response, your adrenal glands are kicking out huge amounts of adrenaline and cortisol. So that changes how your blood flows around your body. It changes your breathing rate, your heart rate. So if we can breathe then what happens is your body then starts to get the oxygen. It stops the panic.
Okay.
Talk about breathing. The one thing I say is don't breathe in. This sounds really weird, right? Don't breathe in, because when you're in the grip of an anxiety, you're breathing with the top half of your lungs. Your breath is short. So you might get that panty feel, might start to sweat, but you're breathing with this, just this up here. So what's happening is down here in this part of your lungs.
Your boobies.
You're getting my boobies, yeah, they're not very big. But down here, your bottom part of your lungs, they're filling up with CO2. The oxygen's not getting down there.
Right.
So it's a bit like a room. If you've got a room full of furniture and you want to put more furniture in, it's not going to fit. You've got to empty the furniture out first. So the first thing you do when you are in a grip is huff it out. And literally you go, right, so sigh it out. You'll often find people sighing. It's a natural response to stress. If you live with anybody who's stressed, listen to them. They will.
I do that a lot. I do that a lot. I didn't even realise.
Hair in the mouth. Sorry. This is the downside of this kind of hair. It gets in your mouth.
Beautiful. I'll take the downside.
But that's a natural response for your body to sigh. So listen to people, and if you hear them sighing, it's your body's way of huffing out the CO2. So if you're in a grip of anxiety, then breathe in and then breathe out. But only do the breathing like that for about 4 or 5 breaths. Don't do it any more than that, because you'll get lightheaded. And the other thing, because I'm a bit of a sharer, my other top tip is what I call the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So if you are in if anxiety is kind of grabbing hold of you and it's stopping you from doing something, if you're trying to get out of the house and you're feeling really anxious because whatever's going on, get yourself out of the space you're in. So if you're in your house, go into your garden. If you're in your car, pull over, get out of your car. What this is doing is breaking your state. So it's breaking where your physical environment is. So move yourself, move out of the room you're in, go to somewhere different space around you. And then you do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So as you're in that space, huff it out. And then you look around you and you look for 5 different things. So you look around you and notice 5 different things. So if I was doing it here right now, I would go, my curtain. Notice the curtain, okay? Then I would go, my glass. Notice the glass. And you're looking at it. And then you're going to go, my pen, or whatever else I'm seeing. You're going to do 5 things you can see. Now, the order you go this through, it really doesn't matter. But I generally say 5 for looking, because it's easy to see 5 things. And then you do 4 things that you can touch. Okay? So literally things that have a different texture. So I might touch my curtain and feel it. And then I might touch the glass because it feels different to my pen. But I'm going to touch it. I'm going to feel it. And then you're going to do, where are we for? 3, because I can't add up. 3 things that you can hear. So what you're going to do then is you're going to go, okay, you're concentrating on your senses. What different things I can hear. Now, if I stop talking, I can hear the kind of clicky thing on the computer. I heard a car go past, and I can hear a bird singing. Okay? So you see what we're doing? We're working through the senses. Okay? And then you're going to do 2 things you can smell. Now, when you really breathe in, it's amazing what you can smell.
I can smell my rotting bin at the moment, I think.
Okay, yeah. I can smell my stinky dog. But
yeah,
if you were
right.
sitting, yeah. So you think about 2 things you can smell. Now, I'm not going to say taste, which is the other sense, because really you don't want to go around licking stuff. But
listen, if you're desperate, you never know.
Yeah, you could. But you get the idea.
Yeah.
And what this is doing is it's bringing you into the present. It's making you present in that moment. It's making you think about your body. So when you're doing the touch, it's making you think about your body. It's making you think about your environment, your space. It's getting you out of this, because it's this that is doing the 20, 50 million kind of thoughts that are snowballing, that start with that worry thought and then carry on into God knows what. I know for me, when I had anxiety after my second son was born, I'd get to the point where I was imagining the headlines of the newspaper on the store, telling the story about the thing that I'd imagined was going to happen. It was kind of so crazy that my brain would do that, but it did, and I would be lost in this whole thing, and it was so far removed from where I was at, but it was real in my head. And so being able to bring yourself back, so huff it out, that controls the breath, stops the panic, gets rid of the CO2, gets more oxygen in, and then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you will be back in the space, almost like back in the room.
It's a great tip. Yeah. I just want to say to whoever's watching, while you're saying that, I'm thinking, oh, I'd write this down, and I'd screenshot it and have it on my phone, because there's such powerful tips, and I can really imagine how they just change your mindset there and then in that instance when you most desperately needed it. So to get it any way you can on your person that's readily available before you've learned it as a master like you are, where you can go, shit, what do I need to do? My head's fucked, what do I need to do? You can just pick up the phone and you've screenshotted it. So that's what I'm going to say to all of you. I'll put it in the description of this anyway, but get that written down and keep it with you at all times, because that's so simple and easy. And I love that, Sam. Thank you. That's a really cool trick, and it makes so much sense. And it was like something I was watching the other night with Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins, for those who don't know, is this American gruff life coach he's full on. I mean, he's a bit too much for me. I'm not sure I'd want him all up in my grill, but what he said was, just break the pattern of your thoughts, and distraction is the quickest way to do that. So even if they get all those things wrong, the fact that their brain is taken over doing something else is going to break the cycle. Yeah. If they can get it to hand, I mean, that's just a genius tool to have.
Yeah, I mean, get a Post-it note, stick it on your fridge, put it somewhere, as you say, on your phone, anywhere where you're going to see it. And after what, to be fair, it doesn't matter what senses you do in what order. It's the fact that you are concentrating and focusing on where you're at. And there are so many different tools to help with anxiety. It really doesn't have to limit your life. And as you said, I spoke about mums, but it's everything. Anxiety, social anxiety, anxiety to work. The women that I speak to that are on the train on the way to work, and they are just gripped with anxiety because they're going into a workplace. And the thing with anxiety, it can be triggered by the most randomest things where it can flip us. And it's understanding how not only to cope with it when you're in it, but the real key to anxiety and getting rid of it and getting it out of your life is to understand what your triggers are, to have coping mechanisms if you are triggered, but to know where it's come from, the root. And that's the key. It's understanding where that is and clearing that. And that's, when we've done the magic tapping where you just really tap the crap out of your face.
Love that. Love that. For those who didn't come to an event, Sam had the whole room of 50 plus women all tapping their shit out, and they all loved it, didn't they, Sam? They all felt benefit from it. It's such a simple and powerful tool. So
sorry, go on.
Yeah, you can do it yourself if you need to, but I don't. I just turn up to your drum and get you to do it. So poor old Sam has to tap my face through snot and tears. It's quite. One day my hair was really greasy as well. I don't envy your job.
I do wash my hands, it's okay.
I would have some anti-bac for when I've left, for sure. I'm just so glad to have you as part of the Becoming Enough project, this online course that we're rolling out. You're such a massive asset to it. For those of you who aren't aware of the project yet, Sam will be joining us for a video call much like this, where we can all get involved and you can write comments and stuff. It's very interactive. And Sam will be doing that with us for an hour and a half, talking all about anxiety and going deeper into, I imagine, them finding you all looking for your root cause so that you can find out what it is and move on. Are they getting worksheets and stuff after, Sam? What are they going to, so after the hour and a half call, what's been in the group for us, please?
Okay, so yes, there will be a stack load of worksheets. So you're going to get things to do. So there'll be list of things. It's finding your thing, finding the thing that works for you, your tool. So you're going to get loads of things that you can do yourself, and you just experiment and find the ones that work for you for in the moment, if anxiety is kind of you're in the grip of it. What you're also going to get is an understanding of what happens to the physical body. I'll also share with you supplements and herbal things that can help, because we need to think about this as not just what goes on in here, it's what's going on in your physical body as well, because things like exhausted adrenal glands will trigger or contribute to anxiety. Hormonal imbalances, many women will say that their anxiety is worse as they're coming up to a period, and that is because progesterone takes a dip. Progesterone's a mood elevator. Without it, so I'll be sharing all of that stuff as well, how to support your body practically on a supplement kind of basis, the things to take and not to take on that side. Then, so you're going to get a whole load of written stuff, which I will give to you, and you will get to your ladies however you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm no good at the tech stuff. I'm just going to hand it over to you. Your ladies will have as well is they'll get a session with me.
Amazing.
So each of your ladies will get an hour session. We will either via Skype or in my clinic. So it doesn't have to be, if you're not living in Essex, it's fine. We can do it over Skype. And what they'll get is we will then one-to-one kind of explore the roots. And when I say root, sometimes there is more than one. Sometimes it is very often it's accumulation of things adding on. But what they'll get in that session is a real deep dive into where they're at and what their stuff is. And then they will have tapping as their tool, because that's the technique we'll be using. And they will also get an audio from me, so more listening to my voice, specifically for anxiety. So this is something that they can then listen to whenever they want. So it might be before they go to bed at night, and it will help them to clear what's going on for them in that present moment. So again, this will be another tool that if they're in the grip of anxiety on the train, going to work, or, it's all kind of got a bit much when they're at work, they can go to the toilet and they can plug their earphones in and they can listen and clear it there and then, so that they can get on with their day. Because it's all very well finding the route, but when it's you need to be able to get on with your day. So what your ladies are going to get is an understanding of where it's come from, some ways to clear that, and then ways to deal with it there and then when it's happening. And then all of this what I do will then lead into what Eloa and Susie are going to be doing, because it kind of all sort of goes into one. So the mindset stuff, if you're feeling anxious about something, that mindset stuff, it's going to be, it connects. And the same with the inner child work, it's all connected. So it's going to be a real kind of neat follow on. I'm so excited. I'm so
excited. You're just such good value for money, Sam. I mean, what you do is fucking priceless. Give people back some peace and freedom. That's you can't put a fucking price on that. But if you did, you're well good value. I mean, I love the whole that it's physical as well. Yes. We're so bombarded now with antidepressants and mood changing chemicals, and that's all very well for the instant, but it's not sustainable for the whole of your life. I mean, does anybody want to be on prescribed drugs for the rest of their life when there might be another option, which we know there is, to look at their actual physical form and see how they can support their body through a more holistic approach? So for me, I just think that's wonderful that you can actually even pinpoint that due on your period, I mean, I don't even know all this stuff, so I can't wait to learn it all myself anyway. But for women that have just been handed a prescription and you just have to live with your anxiety, that's how your life is now, to have a window to another fucking possibility is just beautiful. And let's get this thing started. I can't wait. So like Sam just touched on as well, so we've got Sam for the first part of this, is in the first month it's all going to be based around anxiety, and I'm also going to be supporting us all. There's only 20 allowed on each course at a time, so it's a very small group in Facebook, and I'll be there 6 days a week to support your learning and to set you little daily challenges just to push yourself a little bit more to get the results that you really, really deserve. month 2 is going to be Ella Atkinson, who I'm having one of these video things with next week. So we'll see her, meet her. She's incredible. And then Susie Ashworth, who, you know, if you don't come off that call feeling like you could own the fucking world, then it's not the Susie that I've called in, that's for sure. She's a powerhouse. So yeah, all in all, this is for women who are ready to step into their power and own their shit, isn't it? It's going to be something else.
It's something I kind of had when we're. This is a bit of my thing. I kind of come up with this the other day, and I just love sharing it because I think it so fabulously just describes everything. When we're anxious, we are small. Okay, we just imagine that all of us have a light inside of us that would just love to shine out. But when we're anxious, we limit ourselves, we shrink, we cover that light up, and it kind of to the point even just goes out. When you clear anxiety, when you're not anxious anymore, that light becomes an ember. That ember then becomes a small flame. That flame then grows. And the magic is, and this is the bit, because I'm getting goosebumps now.
Me too.
So this flame grows and you start to burn brightly. But the magic is, by you burning brightly, you light the way to everybody else in your life. Because you're shining the light on their paths. So that's your loved ones, the people who live with you. That's your work colleagues. That's your friends. By you lighting up, you light them up because you shine your light on their pathway. And just by you shifting and you changing, you change them because your energy changes. The way you relate to the world, the way the world relates to you, it shifts and changes, it alters, and it spreads out. And just imagine all of these flames that then can grow brighter and brighter around the world. I mean, can you imagine that?
Imagine a world full of light like that. I mean, we can all sit here and complain about the state of the world, but we're all part of this world. And if we can make any shifts at all to make the world a better place, then, you know, and our lives better, then why the hell not? And it's exactly that. That's something that the women who do the online project, I'm going to be instilling. Shine your fucking light.
Shine your light.
Shine your fucking light. Own your light. Shine your light. And blind the fuckers with your light.
Yeah, totally.
All the light. All the light. Oh, Sam, I love you. I could talk to you all afternoon. You've given us such an amazing lot of insight in one small amount of time, and I can't wait to hear what you do with us in July. For those of you who don't know about the Becoming Enough Project online, I'm going to stick a link, like I said in the video. Go and have a look. There's only limited spaces left because we're already filling up. So, yeah, I hope to see some of you there because I believe in all of you. And with a few tweaks, you could be in a whole different life to the one you're in now. Yeah. So thank you so much, Sam.
My pleasure.
Soon. Probably let you smack my face around a bit soon. I've got an appointment soon, haven't I?
Yeah. I can't remember what it is. It's soon. Yeah, can't remember.
I shall see you soon anyway. Thank you so much, my darling.
My pleasure.
Have a lovely rest of the day.
And you. Take care.
See you later. Bye. Bye, everyone.